Welcome to Cusco, ancient capital of the Inca Empire and considered the oldest living city in the entirety of the Americas, located near the Andes Mountains at 3,400 meters altitude. It was deemed a UNESCO World Heritage Site in 1983. It is a beautiful city. Me and Em are going to be taking you on the full 24-hour itinerary, the best viewpoints over this gorgeous landscape, and of course a little bit of history, the Inca side and everything in between, and a few little pit stops for a little bit of cake, a little bit of brunch and a little bit of coffee in the system. If you do have any questions, bang it in the comments down below. Whilst you're down there, hit that subscribe button. Still en route to 3K subs. Let's get cooking, baby. Stop number one, getting a little bit of culture in the bones. Qorikancha, which is the Temple of the Sun, built in 1200 AD, the most important construct in the entire Inca Empire. Everyone came to pay homage to Inti, aka the highest of Inca gods. The Spanish actually came and looted it and destroyed it, but even though they built Santo Domingo, the main church here, it was destroyed 3 times by 3 separate earthquakes, and then they came to rebuild it in 1956 to look like the original. So you have a nice mix of Inca and colonial architecture. The grounds here, absolutely beautiful outside. It is £4 to come in just to explore yourself. If you do want a guide, you do have to pay a little bit extra. There's a few different areas and different rooms where you're not allowed to take videos, where it's a lot where it's like kind of like the main Christianity, Catholic like relics and, do you know what I mean, paintings on the wall and canvases, but it is absolutely beautiful, very much giving me the vibes of the Vatican and walking around some of the churches obviously across Europe. But yeah, I think a couple of hours here, no actually not a couple of hours, 1 hour here is absolutely perfect. It's a lovely time to explore the gardens, get a few photos, and there's so much information around kind of different monarchs and stuff. So if you want that sort of stuff, there is insane amount of intel, and it's not just in Spanish. All the I guess borders and information pieces are in English as well, so we can relate to a bit of those. But yeah, beautiful little setup, loads of intel, loads of history, and yeah, a great way to kick off the old day. On this channel, you know we're all about our brunches, getting some unbelievable food in the system to fire us up for the day ahead. Qura, name will be on the screen, of course. Now, lovely little setting, little like mezzanine upstairs. They do have a little courtyard out back, which I only found out right at the end. So if you do want to sit outside, a little bit of sun on you, go and check that out. Just walk through the main area, and then yeah, it's right at the back. There's only 3 tables, but lovely little setup. Super friendly staff. Obviously, for those who don't know, I'm allergic to nuts, peanuts and soybean oil. They cooked in soybean oil. However, spoke to the guy and they cooked all our food. New pans, freshly washed, and in butter. So unbelievable service. And then in terms of the food, it unbelievably exceeded expectations. Do you know what I mean? I'm always on the eggs, avocado, poached eggs. Do you know what I mean? All 4 lovely and dippy. The king on the old shakshuka. Again, how they've done like the egg in the middle of shakshuka, top drawer. So yeah, silly flavors. The coffee again was absolutely banging. Would just like to get a tiny bit more heat to it, but you know what I mean, I'm giving it a strong 9 out of 10 for me. Top drawer way to fire the day up. And we're in Cusco for a week doing various activities, Machu Picchu, and going to obviously all the different sites in and around the old city. So I'm sure we'll be back in there getting some more food in the system. But yeah, get it on the list. The food was banging, unbelievably friendly. We're fired up for a big day ahead, baby. A short 3-4 minute walk is going to land you in Plaza de Armas, which is the main square, usually the epicenter of economic and political growth until the Spaniards arrived in 1534. Cusco is actually a valley 60 kilometers long that used to be a lake until millions of years ago it dried out, and this is the center, this is the hub, and this is where the magic absolutely happens. You're getting all the colonial architecture, and there's just a silly amounts of restaurants, bars. We've seen a little Irish pub. The Irish pubs get everywhere, and far side of the screen now you're going to see a little Mackie D's. So yeah, the boys, they know how to get everywhere, but it's a lovely little setup. If you want a little drink, if you want a little aperitivo, this is going to be the spot for you. Lovely little gardens, lovely little water features, and then right in the center here you do have Cusco Cathedral, built back in the 15 and 1600s. It took them 100 years to build, so very much similar to the old La Sagrada Familia in Barcelona. For me, I think it's a beautiful building. La Sagrada Familia, I think, is going to be top of the pile. There's not many places that are going to do better than that. It was actually built with stone blocks they took from one of the fortresses. We're actually going to visit a little bit later, the big fortress on the hill. And apparently all the buildings here, specifically the cathedral, is Gothic and Renaissance architecture. So for people who enjoy a little bit of architecture, a little bit of buildings, this is going to be the spot for you. Apparently that's an extremely unique combination of the old Gothic and Renaissance piece. If you know any information about that, bang it down in the comments. And I've not mentioned it yet, but everything on the list today is in chronological order. So I've put in the work, the time, so you don't have to. So yeah, everything's going to be the shortest amount of walk, the most efficient way to get around. And yeah, this is one hell of a beautiful little spot. Things you love to see, baby. We've just meandered, walked through, battled through Hatunrumiyoc Street. Again, not how you pronounce it. We'll overlay it on the screen now. One side of the street is Inca rock, one side of the street is Spanish stone, and I wanted to go there, get amongst it. There's a few different things on the wall. You can read about the history and how they made this 12 angled or 12 sided rock and how they all fit perfectly together. But it's just absolute pandemonium. There's so many people trying to sell you massages, you literally can't get a word in edgeways. So we just had a quick walk through there, got in, saw it, got out the other side, and now we're just flying about San Blas neighbourhood. Absolutely phenomenal. I'm just following the king, just getting the vibes. It gives me very much like Mykonos, like Greek vibes, all the kind of white stone houses. Absolutely beautiful. Apparently it's renowned for its bohemian vibe and all the different kind of art galleries and murals on the wall. The original name, Tabaokama, again, I'll overlay it now because that is not how you pronounce it, but it means salt cave, and that kind of relates to kind of all the buildings, how they were built. But what happened here, when the Spanish took over, they built colonial buildings on top of Inca foundations. So Inca foundations, imagine, are pretty bloody good. And you put the Flair colonial buildings on top. It's quite an interesting place because there are a hell of a lot of people, but there's 24-hour security. So hopefully that fills you with a little bit of the old confidence. And then when you get up, this is the viewpoint that you get at the top. Absolutely phenomenal. For me, you could be in the middle of, Europe, something like that, a little piazza in Rome, somewhere in Italy. It's absolutely gorgeous. It's not 360, which you often hear me say on this channel. 180-degree views, lovely viewpoint though. I tell you what, any little freebie, any little viewpoint, G-Dubs is going to be all over it. There's loads of little cafes and bars as you kind of meander your way up from where we were before on that kind of main square. I'd probably say it is a 10-15 minute walk if you're taking it nice and slow, all up some quite steep steps. And again, we are at about 3,600 meters altitude when you get up here, so do bear it in mind. It is going to be battering against the old cardio. But yeah, beautiful views, very impressed with Cusco so far, and yeah, we're just drinking it all in, baby. Myself and Em battled our way up a brutal amount of steps. So if you are going to come up to Cristo Blanco, make sure you have some water, make sure you have some sun cream, because it is absolutely carnage getting up here. However, you are rewarded with beautiful little statue, 8 meters high, gift from the Arabic Palestinians who sought refuge here after World War II, designed by Francisco Alanade, who also made the Santa Clara archway, something along those lines, a flare little archway within the city itself. So obviously very much like Christ the Redeemer in Rio de Janeiro in Brazil, very much like the one we saw in Timor-Leste many moons ago. But for me, the best part is just the absolute ruthless views over the city. Again, not 360, but absolute silly behaviour. You can see right in the middle of the shot now, main square where we came from a little bit earlier, king surveying the kingdom, and then their sports ground right in the mixer behind. But yeah, I was just saying to Em, it's very much kind of like La Paz in terms of the buzz, the culture. It's got a real feeling of being alive, but I'd say a lot more colonial influence, a lot more buildings where you think, yeah, it could be in the centre of Milan, centre of somewhere in France. But yeah, lovely little setup. You want the best views over the city. Again, goes without saying, the higher you go, the better they're going to be. Ridiculous scenes. And shout out to the big man, as always. A short 8-minute walk is going to land you at Saqsaywaman, definitely not pronounced right, but Inca ruins, an old fortress. It's the most visited archaeological site in the whole of Peru. For me, I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments. I assume that's because there's restricted amount of people that are allowed to go into Machu Picchu each day, and this is just so accessible to Cusco. It's 3,700 meters overlooking the city, the exact same view as Cristo Blanco, but I'll talk about that in a little second. 20,000 men helped carry stone 20 20 kilometers to build this back in the day, and its name means the place where the hawk is situated, i.e. looking over the whole of the city. Silly views, silly backdrop, and yeah, just another lovely little spot. I would hate to be someone back in the day attacking up the old hills, and that's why the hawk's there doing bits and taking on anyone. It was actually built back in the old 15th century by Patiasuk, which was the 9th Inca emperor. But a little bit of analysis from me, you know, we're all about getting in the mix, seeing what's going on. You have Cristo Blanco, which is like pretty much parallel to this on the hill, but to go into here just to see the viewpoint was 16 of the Queen's English pines. So, you know, we thought, absolutely not. 4 people behind us have just done the exact same thing. Just if you're trying to save money, just go to Cristo Blanco. It is the exact same viewpoint. You can see the end of both of them. So if you are looking to save money, that's a spot for you. If you are in do you know what I mean, your archaeological sites, your history, your Inca history, mythology, all that good stuff, then it goes without saying, go in there, spend the money, and spend some time having a look around. However, it is baking hot. I'll try and take my sunglasses off. Again, I can't even open my eyes. And the walk up here, it's about a kilometre from, we're going to do the reverse walk now, back into the town centre. It is a kilometre straight up. As I say, it's about 8 minutes from Cristo Blanco if you're following the route that we did. But yeah, not got too much sun cream on, so he's absolutely baking along myself. So I'm pretty sure with all this walking, hiking, flying about in the sun, we've earned a nice little cold drink or something to keep us going. But yeah, for me, just go to Cristo Blanco. You can see it from the outside, you don't need to pay to go in. But again, if you're big into your into that sort of stuff, get yourself in the mix. For me, we're gonna miss this one. Peace. So, what are the chances? I think the first person I found in South America or Asia who's from there with a nut allergy. The guy's allergic to peanuts, so I could try the dark chocolate cacao, and I can try the white chocolate with coffee. We're gonna give M. She's gonna be on the taste test if she can get in the thing, the golden ticket.
White chocolate with chili. Oh,
not white chocolate with coffee. I think that one did have nuts in, so go on M. This is it. This
Look,
is your
it's
big.
like pinky.
This is it. Taste test. What's the review? It's actually hot.
Doesn't taste like chili.
No? A little bit of spice?
No, but I like it. I can't describe it.
We're going to need something. Bring it to life. The viewers are going to need a little...
White chocolate. That's what it tastes like.
It's just no chili. No. There you go. Maybe if you want something a little bit spicier, you know what I mean, you've got to absolutely fire it up, ask them for a little custom made jobby. But yeah, the dark chocolate 70% was my favourite, because it has to be. And then M, what was your favourite?
Milk chocolate.
Yeah, and they're very friendly in there, so yeah, another thing, get it on the list. The penultimate stop of the day, San Pedro Market, and it is an absolutely active place, buzzing with life, buzzing with energy. Would highly recommend. One of those places, you know, I was kind of like, what I've seen online, what I've read about, what I've done a bit of research on, it looks like the place where you think you go in there and you just get absolutely hounded. It is busy, it is buzzing, however, it's not the case at all. People are trying to sell you stuff, of course they are, they're trying to make a living, but it's not overly salesy. People ask you once, and then that's the kind of end of the transaction. I've never seen as many people selling the same thing in a row in my entire life. So you'll go onto one strip and it'll be like all the people who are selling like smoothies, but there'll be like 2 rows of them, like 50 people all selling like the exact same thing, all waving their menus. Absolute carnage. If you want a smoothie, that is a spot for you. The middle section is very much like your souvenirs, your gifts, your if you want like a nice warm jumper, if you want alcohol, if you want, I mean, little mementos. I guess that's what a souvenir is. We're just absolutely blabbering at this point. And then the bottom section is if you want to try some real local cuisine. They had like your ceviches, they had like the big broth dishes which look really nice as well. But again, there are just so many options, and all the ladies have like their names above their stand and stuff. So super cool little spot. Definitely somewhere I would advise going, checking out if you like getting in close and personal with the local vibe. It's super good. But again, kind of just epitomises everything that we've seen so far and experienced so far in Cusco today. Just that absolute buzz about the city. It's just absolutely filled with energy. So I'm out of breath because we're still at about 3,600 meters, absolutely dying. But me and Em in the market for a little bit of dinner, and then the full review will be coming very shortly. But if you do have any questions, anything you want to know, anything we have or haven't covered, bang it in the comments down below. Checking in after dinner. Final stop of the day, Morena, Peruvian kitchen. Lovely little vibes in there. Food, review, bruschetta for starter, chorizo bruschetta. I thought it was pretty good, to be fair.
Loved it. Big portion, actually. I'm glad we shared it.
Yeah, big time.
Yeah, really nice. Probably an 8 out of 10.
Yeah, I thought it was absolutely banging. Very heavy on the old caramelised onions,
Yeah.
but it was very, very good. The main course went for a little alpaca number, which came with a mushroom risotto, a little bit of cheese in there, a few beans. For me, I absolutely loved it. I think alpaca is very much similar to like pork, a bit juicier, a bit more meatier. I'm giving it, again, an 8 out of 10. The king.
It's going to have to be like a 3 or a 4, I think. Unfortunately, I just kept seeing an alpaca in my head, which is wrong because I eat other meats. And it was just really strong and like overpowering, and so was the risotto, and just I think Gareth ate most of mine, to be honest.
Yeah, it works out well for me, basically. I had like double alpaca meat, so I thought it was banging. Lovely vibes, a lovely little viewpoint. If you do want to see looking over the main square, make sure you book. We just turned up and we did get a table, but not the best one in the house. Cusco for me, silly amounts of energy, lots to see, lots to explore. Very much reminded me of like being on like little Italian piazza in the middle of Spain, middle of Europe. Highlight of the day?
I think just exploring the town, really. Like, there's just every corner you go down, there's like something to see, and just exploring in general.
Yeah, definitely. As you can probably hear in the backdrop, there's a little parade going on. We're back on the main square. For me, Cusco has started the Peruvian adventures very, very strong, heading to Machu Picchu next. So if you enjoy what you see, hit the subscribe button. Still en route to 3K subs. We'll see you in the next one, babe. Remember, the chef is always cooking. Let's get it.